So before I start, I just wanted to say it's a huge honor to be here. Thank you to all the speakers. I'm learning so much from you all also, so thank you. You guys get a video to start off. So.
Around me, my younger friends call me Dadu. We need a hospital for our children.
I'm the only one. Morning comes in paradise. Morning comes in light. Still I must obey. Still I must invite. If there's anything to say, if there's anything.
I feel that to do all this, to serve the needy human beings, gives us immense pleasure, happiness. The life becomes more meaningful when you work for your fellow beings.
I was dressed in embarrassment. I was dressed in wine. If you had a part of me, will you take your time? Even if I come back, even if I die, is there some idea to replace my life? Like a father to impress, like a mother's morning dress. If I ever make a mess, I'll do anything for you.
We need a hospital for people suffering from malaria, a hospital for pregnant mothers, we need a hospital for hope.
So, you might be asking, how does a venture capitalist, his story, intersect with that story? And I have to share a little of my personal story, so it will all make sense, hopefully. And I thought about how to start that, and I decided that I really have to start with my father. When he was 30, exactly my age, he was from a small town in India, had never left his region, has finished his studies, and he couldn't find a job. And he decided to do what nobody else for generations had done. He decided to take a big risk, and he got an opportunity to go teach in the newly built capital of Brazil. And it took 5 planes, and he got himself to Brasilia. And he never thought he would end up staying. One thing led to another. 9 months became 18 months. He probably saw some very attractive Brazilian women there, that's my guess. He's happily married to mom. And he ended up staying longer than he expected. And then things started happening. In 1975, Brazil had a dictatorship, and it's perhaps alien to many of us in this room, since most of us have not grown up in conditions like this. But imagine a world like that, where there's dictatorship, where there's uncertainty, where a simple decision by a person can change your life irrevocably. Well, it happened to my family. The dictatorship basically, long story short, kicked out my parents off the capital, and they ended up finding refuge in a small coastal town in Brazil. And that's how I get to be Brazilian. I am born and raised in Brazil on an island, and I came to the States when I was 18. Looks like I'm staying here. Love the country, absolutely. Just got my approval for my citizenship 2 days ago, after 12 years here. Brazilian, Indian, and American now. You still need to take the oath. So a lot of things happen. I'm going to skip my life, but I'm happy to share over lunch hyperinflation and all kinds of stuff that third world countries have gone through. And I have to share one particular moment of my life. I don't talk about it very much, and I hesitated a lot about bringing it here, but I feel that it has determined my life in many ways that I need to share it. It's a little bit hard for me occasionally. So, I was 10 years old, and we were going on a highway from one city to another, and it was a cliff, and there was a little bit of rain pouring, and there was oil on the road, and I'm not going to go into too much details here, but the car skidded, and it fell down a cliff, 400, 500 feet. I was thrown out of the car, knocked unconscious, and the next thing I remember is waking up with glass all over me, blood, body aching as hell. Took me 2 months to be able to walk again without feeling pain. And this talk is not to share gory details. The point of me bringing this is strangers rescued me, people that I never met in my life. There was a medical system around me that gave me a second chance. There was a community of people around me that gave my family a second chance. And it's not something that determined my life. It's not something I think about every day. But whenever I think about the structure that was around me, I feel that there was something built into society that protected life, that gave equal opportunity to everyone. And the reason I'm here is because I was a beneficiary of that. So it's something that stays with me and reminds me every day. Whenever I look at the scars in my body, I'm reminded of how fragile I am, but I'm also reminded that I have a duty towards other people. Going to skip a whole bunch of things and just tell you that somehow I made it to the US. I came here for college. And when I was a freshman at Stanford, I felt the need to do something. So I went to those villages that you saw, and I lived and worked there for a summer. And I also, once again, didn't think that I could have never imagined what I would end up doing. But I decided to remain involved. And I was 18, I was 19. I was naive, I was idealistic. I think I still am, but I was definitely not as capable. And I just thought maybe I will add a little bit more to the amazing work that those people that you saw in the video are doing. So I fundraised and I built a library. And then I said, maybe I can do a little bit more. So I fundraised and built a high school lab. And I wasn't alone. I found other like-minded people. And there is that 1% of people that will give crap about what you're doing, that will actually not just say in words, but will actually take action. And if they see in you the same kind of person, they'll join hands with you. And if there's anything I was able to do, that's, I think, my biggest victory. I was able to find fantastic colleagues, fantastic partners, and I joined hands with them. And we built the organization further and further. And we continued, all of us, having careers. Like, none of us is on this full time. We all have our own lives. We're all over the US. And we continued working together. And now the latest effort that we have is this one right here. We're building a hospital. I'm proud to say that we actually raised the full amount about a month ago, and we'll start construction in October. Now, the biggest purpose, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the biggest value that I can provide to this room, if you are in this room, you probably think about, what does it mean to have a community? What does it mean to define self-interest? My definition of self-interest, it should be pretty obvious. It's the whole world. And I won't try to bring those points. I think a lot of you think about it. What I do want to pass on to you is at least my recipe. Because as a 20-year-old, I was able to, with other people, accomplish this. And there's no reason that anybody else can't do it. A lot of times we let our own fears stop us. And we look at a problem, we think it's too big, and we say, okay, somebody else should do it. And I absolutely disagree with this. If we are not solving the problem, then we are part of it. We should all part of the solution. And alone, none of us will be able to do it. But even making a small dent makes a difference. It certainly makes for 100,000 people that we are serving right now. So my formula is, oops, this way. We're 5 Stanford alums, and I think a lot of the reason we work well together is because we've all had the same experience of going to these villages and working there. We have a shared bond, a friend's trust built into the team. So all of us go about and do our own thing, and we trust each other that, okay, we are doing this for a greater purpose. We have 0 overhead. Everybody's a volunteer, no payment, virtual organization. For the entirety of our organization, all 5 of us have been pretty much in different cities, different coasts, different time zones. And we use technology, we use Facebook, we use phones, we use email, all the tools that have grown in the last 15, 20 years, literally, to run this organization. I just baffles my mind that 10 or 15 years ago, we would not have been able to do this. And we are actually globally distributed, because I'll show you in next slides that we have a sister organization in Sweden, a sister organization in Norway, and obviously the people in rural India that we communicate and work with. And the whole Obama model of fundraising, the vast majority of donors are people in our age group, $10, $20, $25. All of that makes a difference. Little by little by little, all of that made a difference. Because what happens is a whole community of small donors attracts occasionally a big donor. And I got 20,000 from one donor because he saw how many people were giving small amounts. So that strategy of fundraising in today's interconnected world of social networks, of people being able to discover people, shared interest, it actually does work. I will skip the need for a hospital. I think most of you realize why you need a hospital. If my personal story wasn't enough to move you, then consider all the times that you were sick. And just imagine if you didn't have a hospital next to you, 2 hours, 3 hours away from you, what could have happened with you? And that's our partner in India. I bring this up because it's ludicrous to think that you can make a change from a distance. I think you have to be on the ground with the relationships. And I don't kid myself, I cannot run an organization in India while having a life and a career here. I have a partner in India who is actually doing the hard work. They're the true heroes of this story. And the last point I wanted to bring up is partnerships. I've alluded this multiple times in this talk. Nothing happens without having partnerships, without having support, without having people giving hands to people. And I was able to build a great team. I was able to have great partnerships. I have a partner up in Seattle who will actually do the construction. I have a partner in Washington, D.C. that gave us the avenues for a bunch of fundraisers. If you are considering building an organization, a small group of committed people, that's actually really, truly, truly what makes the difference. And I will leave this last slide here with some quotes of people far wiser and who have accomplished far more, but as perhaps inspiration for all of us. So if you have a goal, don't wait till tomorrow. Start today. You can do it.